The times, they are a changin'. So I was born in 1970. And in 1970, the marriage rate was 76.5%. 76.5%. Now, of course, I didn't even know that until a few months ago. But I was thinking about a lot of things recently. I was thinking about the fact that when I was growing up, all I saw were married couples. And in the Black community, that is strange, but all my aunts and uncles and cousins were married. My parents were married. My grandparents were married. My great-grandparents were married. Marriage was like a default setting. It was like there was no, I don't think I met a single parent until I was in 7th grade. And so that was just the way things were. And I was told, go to college, get a job, get married, have kids, you'll be happy. And it was literally as foregone a conclusion as the fact that you had to work to pay your bills. That was literally marriage, and having to work to pay your bills was like those two things were synonymous in the fact that this was something that I was told everybody did. Basically, everybody did. So it wasn't even a thought that I wouldn't get married. And that's probably why, I ended up with the ring by spring, as I've mentioned before, in college, and didn't end up getting married to my first person that I was engaged to. We ended up breaking up, but within a year of that breakup, I was actually engaged again and married, or on the way to getting married. So yeah, it was just a rite of passage. It was just part of the way things were done. And so many ideas that are commonplace now just didn't exist back then. And I also wanted to mention something that I don't think I've ever mentioned before, but I heard a little bit about it recently and it kind of brought it to my mind. I was also conditioned that, especially as a Black woman, it was my job to be a man's piece. Now, you hear that so much, and it's made to seem as if it's this minor thing, like it's an individual thing, like you help him individually. But I was taught that it meant a lot more than just helping him individually. I was taught that when he left the home, which there was no thought about me leaving the home, you know what I'm saying, going out to deal with the same thing. But when he left the home, everyone was going to be judging him and criticizing him and treating him as less than. And so I had to be his rock. Now, keep in mind, this is at a time when I'm supposed to be submitting to him, but I'm supposed to be his rock, right? And I'm supposed to keep him stable so that he can come home and have this peaceful environment so that he can get up and go do it all the same the next day, right? He can go out and deal with it again because he knows he's got this safe haven to come home to. Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. I believe that your home should be your sanctuary. That's one of the biggest beliefs that I still have. And I would not marry anybody or live with anybody who was going to bring chaos into my home environment. But there is an underlying current under that. At the time, it was not reciprocal. At the time, there was no concept that he was going to do this for me as well, that he was going to be my safe space, my safe haven, that he was going to make the environment at home where I could decompress. And that's where I think that we have to change that narrative, because the narrative is still, she needs to be his peace, or, a man settles where he finds peace. You see that so much on memes. It needs to be that peace should be the default setting of the home, and that both people should be working towards keeping that harmonious interaction. And in fact, I put out a meme not too long ago about the 5 types of marriage, and you had devitalized, traditional, conflicted, harmonious, and then vitalized. Harmonious and vitalized were the only 2 that were considered healthy marriages. So harmony has to be for both people, not just one. And I saw a video with Jordan Peters and a couple other social scientists, and they were talking about how the most dangerous societies are the ones in which there's too many single men who are not being buffered by women. They're not being given that woman who kind of gives them a space to unleash their toxicity. They don't have that safe space. They don't have that emotional support from the woman in their life, and the physical support in terms of intimacy. And so these men, because they don't have the ability to emotionally regulate and emotionally be intelligent, they become extremely dangerous to society. And basically the video was trying to say to women, we can't afford for you to be single. There is a male loneliness epidemic. It's causing an increase in opioid use. It's causing an increase in assault statistics. It's causing an increase in violent behaviors. We need you women to stop being single, because it's your job to be these men's peace. And we need to stop putting that on women. A man is an individual with his own individual emotions, and his emotions are his job to manage, not the women's job to manage. All right. So we've got to stop doing that. And, this whole idea that that's the purpose of a woman is to keep men buffered and in control and calm so that society can function. We have to put that back where it belongs, on men. And I also want to bring up that what do you bring to the table is a question that I did a meme on the other day. And so many times when that question is asked, it's asked as if women need to prove themselves to the man that's asking